Hello there. Welcome to Advertising Report Card. I'm sitting in my mom's office, as you can tell by the decorations. This is Advertising Report Card. What we're going to do is dive into a AdWords account and give it a good 1-2. Also, we're going to go through a little bit of business strategy behind this. I'm doing this for a friend, so I wanted to take the extra step in. If you ever needed the business strategy tied in with a marketing campaign, always happy to do that as well. Let's get started. So out of the gate, it's Coastal Cooling Inc. in Naples, Florida. They're a local HVAC company that handles Southwest Florida area. And we're going to hop into these accounts and just get an idea for what we're going after. So out of the gate, we have APCO, Coastal Cooling Inc., which looks to be general services, and then Dehumidifier, which is directly dehumidifier. Just to get an idea of what the APCO campaign is about, we're going to take a look at the indoor air quality products, and we're going to take a look at the keywords. So out of the gate, the main thing that I'm seeing here is that there's very generic keywords in place. Now, granted, these aren't broad match modified or broad keywords. They're phrase match, so they're intended to be very specific. But what you're going to run into here is an issue that is more evolved around how people are searching for the services. So this is a local provider. They're not going to go to California and do work. But people all around the country can search just for air purifier. There's no loyalty to a region. There's no specifics. It's just air purifier. So with that being said, this keyword could be very dangerous because it could spend a lot of budget and not produce any results. As you can see here on the cost, we have 0 conversions and we have a lot of costs. Now, with that being said, the 0 conversions is a little suspicious. We're looking at a month long here, and I was not told that this campaign was doing horribly. So we're going to go into the conversions out of the gate real fast and just take a quick look. And as you can see here, it says we are tracking 2 different calls from ads, which one of these would definitely need to be deleted. I imagine this one would be the one. And then we have a phone call conversion imported from clicks that hasn't tracked anything. And then we have a third call conversion tracking that's tracked 1. First problem is it's going to track every call, so it's not going to be a true lead every single time. You want this to only count once. So this one's set up properly in the settings, but not properly on implementation. The biggest thing that we're seeing here that's going to be an issue is there's no form submission tracking. So with that being said, if you were to circle back to campaigns, I don't know if you had seen that before I clicked over, but on the campaign level, the campaign strategy is maximize conversions. So essentially, Google has no conversion data to maximize any performance. So what it's going to continue to do is pump out as much as it can from its keyword list to just try to see if it can get a conversion. And if it doesn't, it's always going to aggressively spend. As you can see, we have 1 conversion here. We're going to get into that in a second. Click on APCO again. We're going to be looking at the keywords for the indoor air quality products. So another thing too is that some of these look good, but they're just not cohesive. You don't have a lot of direct impact onto what the company's offering. And what I mean by that is if you go to their website and check out the services, their top service that they're pushing is AC repair and then indoor air quality. So that's what we're looking at on the ad group level. As you can see here, what they're endorsing is APCO X, just like what the ad group says. But what is APCO? Do people know what APCO is? Do people know the difference between the models? Are we going after people who already have APCO devices and might need replacements or are looking for a different opportunity? In general, if you look on this keyword list, APCO X is the only keyword in here that was put in that's connected to this device that they're actually servicing. And what you'll see is it's generating clicks. So people actually know what APCO is. Are we getting conversions from that? We don't know because it's not tracking. We also got an error flagged here on this one. Okay. So with that being said, there's just a real heavy generic strategy here, which is kind of scary when you're looking at a local business. You should want something that's going to be more specific. Let's go into a couple other ad groups just to get an idea of some quick feedback that we can go ahead with. Light sanitizer, ultraviolet sterilizer. This might not be terrible as it's a direct implementation type of product, but UV sanitizer, there are so many different types of applications commercially and residential for this type of search that it's generic. People who are going to be looking for any type of sanitation with UV, whether it's the lights in your house or whether it's the lights in your AC unit, it's just not specific enough. This is an HVAC company, and the only things that you should be going after if you want to generate actual business with your ad budget are the services and the products that they offer. If UV, let's go back to that again. If UV sanitizer is a part of this, where is it at on the services list? If it's not on the services list, where is the word UV sanitizer on the landing page? It doesn't exist. So not only are these keywords, let's see if light sanitizer does for us. Nope, it does not. Not only are these keywords extremely generic for any type of product that's essentially inside of that category, these keywords aren't even on the landing page. So someone's searching for this and they're getting to the landing page and they're not even going to understand why they're here. More importantly, this is the landing page for every ad in the campaign. These ads are very specific. People are searching for specific things. They should be going to the specific pages. So highly recommend making sure that every ad in every ad group is being targeted relevantly on the landing page. So another thing that I wanted to add into this is I saw that we have an actual local business campaign. So let's just call AppCo generic, even though it shouldn't be because it's an actual product. This campaign should essentially be changed to products, and AppCo and every other one of the AppCo devices should have its own ad group and explanation going directly to the AppCo landing page. Even better, down the landing page to where the AppCo part starts, so that when somebody clicks on that, they're immediately seeing the word AppCo because that's what they search for, and now they can start processing the information. Another thing that we can see here is switching gears to the local. Coastal Cooling Inc. campaign is the local campaign. So this is what they're going to be doing to drive local business. Air conditioning repair, the number one service on their landing page. As you can see here, it's expensive cost per click. It's not cheap. The other clicks we were getting were what, $1 to $3. Reason being is that they're generic, meaning that they're not as relevant. Not as many people are bidding on those generic terms simply because it's not a one-to-one relevancy. So let's dig a little deeper here. It looks like the only conversion we had in the last 30 days that was tracked was somebody searching for Lennox phrase match. We'll find out what that exact keyword was in a moment, search term wise. But as you can see here, we have a pretty good list of local repair terms, things that are going to get you local business, which as a local business, you can probably ship something 2 to 3 hours away if it's just a part. But most local businesses are not in the business of e-commerce. They're in the business of servicing their local positions. So with that being said, if you look at the overall campaign spend strategy, let's back out again. These three campaigns have a fairly even budget. Difference is this campaign has a keyword budget of around 10 clicks a day or $3 per click. Coastal Cooling, $13 a day for the local businesses that are gonna generate the revenue. They're gonna cap out at probably 1 to 2 clicks a day. So unless your conversion rate's 100% or 50% online, which is unrealistic and it's not fair to put yourself up to that standard, you're not gonna get any local business out of this campaign. You might get lucky, but as we can see here, we're not getting any real traction with the keywords for the local business. And it's not because people are not searching for AC repair near me or AC technicians or things of that nature. It's because these ads don't have any chance to show. So they don't have any chance to provide leads. So my major recommendation out of the gate is to really assess what's going to drive your company revenue over the past 12 to 24 months and start leaning your ad budget towards those revenue generators. Could you get some low-hanging fruit from these cheaper campaigns that are kind of indirect? Sure. You might be able to get some low-hanging fruit, but low-hanging fruit is not the whole tree. It's the lucky piece that you might get for not putting forth the full effort to get the main source. So that's the main thing, is what is driving the revenue in this company. Let's hop in the humidifier real fast and take a look at something else that I found interesting. The dynamic ad group that I found interesting. So we have a dynamic spender here. This ad group is one of the top 3 spenders in the past 30 days. Looks like the total cost was $150 at a $13 a day budget. This thing's eating budget from this local service campaign. It's eating budget. All of these other ones providing leads are not going to be able to spend because this ad group is inside of this campaign. This campaign's budget's not high enough to facilitate these core ad groups, plus this one that's eating all the budget. Another thing, too, to take into consideration is that they tried to have in this ad group multiple dynamic URLs, but as you can see here, none of them have been working. You do not want to sit on a disapproved ad. These should get paused, removed, or fixed. There's no reason why these should be live and disapproved. It actually takes down your entire account's quality. And yeah, with that being said, let's take a look at the ads. So the number three, not the number three, one of the top 3 ad groups that are spending all the ad budget and all the campaigns is uncontrolled. We don't know what the headline is or what the URL is being generated. This content here is very generic, so it's not strong to begin with, but it could pass, right? It's just general language. It's not advertising or very punchy. You want to get punchy in the ads to make sure that you're hitting value prop 1, value prop 2, value prop 3, and your ad extensions are reinforcing all your value props. Saying that you guys ensure great value is a good feel-good thing, but in Google Ads, you have about 3 to 7 seconds to get a click, and if your ad isn't punchy, I would not expect anyone to read every word in this ad. There's too much noise on Google to get that much out of reading an ad copy. So with that being said, another dangerous thing about this campaign is that it's the number 1 revenue generator logically, and the ad group inside of this campaign is killing the rest of its performance. So you're not going to get any local traffic, which is a pain when you have a client that asks, when is this going to start producing? I don't know why it's not producing. It's because there's some sneaky things in this campaign that are killing the budget. So just to kind of recap what we were talked about is making sure that there's keywords on the landing page that match and that it's relevant, that you're not spending budget on things that are not going to produce, and that you're also not letting productive campaigns get cannibalized by things that aren't producing as well. Let's just take a quick look at dehumidifier just to kind of touch again on what we discussed. Some of these ads are not terrible. Some of them could be more punchy, but it's like the whole home air dehumidifier. It's not a terrible headline. But dehumidifiers can be in your car. They can be in your house. They can be in your attic. They can be in a commercial setting. We like commercial and residential for HVAC, yes, but dehumidifier with just this generic keyword, you're going to get a ton of traffic from people who are just looking for the dehumidifier to put into their room for $50 on Amazon. You don't want e-commerce based search terms to cannibalize your ability to get local business if you are a local business. If you're a national provider and you have the budget, say $15,000, $20,000 a month in Google ad click budget, these are the keywords that you should be running, because you can take a whole swath of the population. But we're running at $13 a day, and there's literally no logical explanation as to why these keywords would be running in these campaigns, because you're not going to have the budget to produce business from these generic keywords. Yes, you might get some low-hanging fruit. Somebody might not know what else to search, and they search dehumidifier, and you might be getting clients from that regardless of how well educated they are and what they need. But it's just not a top-of-mind thing. It's not going to get you in front of a lot of business. Another thing too, just to kind of double down on that, if you search for air purifier, I mean, none of these are provided by this company. These are the things that people are buying to sit on their shelf. That's what an air purifier is to the common consumer. You have to understand that. An air conditioning air purifier, an AC air purifier, AC air purification, things that are related to the business are going to get you closer. So those are some keywords that you might want to start incorporating, is something that's more specific to what you guys are providing as a service. Not just that, but making sure that you're attacking your local region too. Air purifiers, Naples. Is that the best keyword? No, because it's still generic for consumerism, but at least it puts the person searching for something in a more relevant local context. If someone searches for air purifier Naples, they're looking for 2 things. Someone that comes service their air purifier in Naples, or someplace they can go and buy an air purifier in Naples. So just to kind of take it a step further, what I did is I backed out all the search terms for the past 30 days, just to get us a better idea of some things that we could be doing here. So first and foremost, let's try to see if we can find that conversion. Yes, we can. Nearest Lennox dealer. Okay, so we're on to something here. Services. See replacement. Nothing about Lennox. I'm sure Lennox could be potentially worked on, but it looks like these guys are just train, 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 which is kind of curious if you really think about it, because if you go to the search term report and you do search for train, train Fort Myers, train air purifiers. So that is back to my original point. Brand name, keyword, boom. People are searching for a train air purifier because they need a new one. This is an exact type of search that we're going to want to go after, right? So with that being said, the only reason we picked this up is because of the keyword air purifiers. And in 30 days, we only picked up 2 searches for train. And there's one reason for that. We're not going after train at all in any of these keywords, in any of these campaigns. As you can see, just this search alone, sorry, let me go here. These are only on the search terms. There's no keyword for train. So this is a big problem because it looks like, I don't see Lennox on this website. I see train, train, and train. Not to mention there's only one partner here. So you're technically, unless you service Lennox and all those other companies, you should put that here. And if you don't, then we should be blocking Lennox. We should be blocking traffic from services that are not offered. So with that being said, what are we spending our money on when it comes to the actual semantics of what someone's putting into the search bar? Branded campaign for the ad group, dynamic. Okay, so these look to be direct searches for coastal cooling, but why is no conversions coming through on this? Typically when somebody searches for a company the first time, it's a referral, a recommendation. They might have heard about it on TV or the radio, and they get close to the search term and they put it in. And then once you have that number in your phone, you're not typically going back to the internet to find the number again. You're going back into your history and you're calling that person back. Either way, it's really odd to me that neither of these triggered any conversions at all. I think that means that there's a problem with conversion tracking fundamentally, because I would imagine he's having some pretty good phone call volumes. And for there to be 0, there's a fundamental flaw in the way that this tracking is hooked up. So indoor air quality testing. Interesting keyword. Whole house dehumidifier, Florida. That's what our ad copy reads. That's pretty good, right? The keyword was dehumidifier. That's the reason why we picked that traffic up. So a big thing that I wanted to add here is that there's an added and excluded column, and this is one of the most important parts of managing Google Ads campaigns. It's the fundamental aspect of handling traffic, in my opinion, is sourcing how you get the traffic. What's the keyword that's bringing in the traffic, and what are all of that keywords, cousins, brothers, and sisters, it's lookalike keywords. What are they driving? What's the performance there? Are we targeting all of those? Are we adjusting the ad? Are we adjusting the landing page a little bit to fit those keywords in to make sure that there's alignment that's going to reduce the cost per click? And the way that I recommend you guys start taking a look at this is you have some added keywords, right? Boom. Keywords added, phrase match, close enough. I would be doing these search reports every day until you get caught up, and then start doing it every week. And just go here and go to none. Say, okay, these are all the keywords that we actually don't have in our campaigns. It's pretty weird. What I would do for a lot of these is I would go through and label all of these. What's relevant, what's not. Like for instance, that's a negative keyword. Every single car, make, and model in the world should be a negative keyword on this campaign. I have an auto negative keyword list. If you need it, just let me know. But yeah, you should never have any clicks like that. Goodman, brand, do we or do we not service Goodman? If yes, let's target Goodman. Let's make a Goodman ad group. If not, let's negative out Goodman totally. Crawl space dehumidifier, not terrible. Do we service that type of dehumidifier? Can we, as a company, put a dehumidifier in a crawl space? I'm going to go with yes. So I think this is a potential keyword that we can go after. This should be added as a broad match modified phrase and exact keyword to that ad group. Best sanitizer for hotel room. This could either be a commercial lead or someone looking for a sanitizer wand when they travel to clean their hotel room. Either way, it should be discussed. Let's say no one has an idea of what this even means. Let's just Google it. That's the key too. Find out what people want. So this is what I was imagining it was. It's like a wand that you can just clean with. I'm not an expert in this industry. It seems kind of like Star Wars and lightsabers, which kind of cool. But as you can see here, there's some blog posts about what this is, and it looks like we're looking at products. I don't see this being a residential or commercial search. So that's like hotel room. Do we block the word hotel room? I don't know. That's a good discussion. Do you guys do a lot of business in hotels? If so, make a commercial landing page and discuss the services that you provide, and make sure that if someone like a GM of a hotel is looking for lights that's going to sanitize all the rooms in their hotel, make sure that you have a landing page explaining that, so when somebody searches for that keyword and clicks that ad, they're not confused when they land on your landing page, because that's going to result in a bounce. They're going to hit your page, you're going to pay Google for that click, and they're going to keep moving. Not good. Sized air filter. This is a product-based search. Are you guys selling air filters like Publix or Walmart does? I highly doubt it. So that's the thing, is do we want to go after dimension-based air filter searches? The only reason why you guys showed up for this is because you're going after air filter. It's that generic. This is how much you're picking up. That's generic. It's actually amazing how much you're picking up on generics. I want to say that there are, some keywords in here that are not terrible. There's, we got to get rid of auto, of course, but attic dehumidifier Florida, that's a good service. And if they have any roof damage or mold damage, it could result in remediation or referral to a roofing company. That's good business to business practice if you can get this lead in. But is it top of mind, top of priority for Coastal Cooling Inc.? That's the discussion that you guys need to start having with your team. And that's really where this list comes in. Look at this, NASA air purifier. That's pretty interesting. But this is where the conversation really comes into how the PPC campaign for any business is going to perform. A lot of people don't understand how their customers find them. They just know that they provide a service and that they might have good referrals, or they might have a good reputation. Maybe they got like 4.8 stars on Google and their competitor doesn't. But people don't really understand how they get their customer. That's what this type of report can really do for a company. And you can really sort and filter this to kind of really cut through it. Go through alphabetical. Anything that starts with air purifier or air conditioning. Start to really get an idea of how people are searching for your services. Not to mention that, but let's say all of these keywords are good. You could quickly, in this spreadsheet, turn all of these keywords. Sorry, my computer's a little slow because of the Zoom recording. You can turn all of these keywords quickly into phrase match. See if Google's going to work with me right now or not. I don't think it's going to do it automatically for me. I was trying to be fancy with the spreadsheet. So I'm going to drag and drop like old schooler does. What you have here now is a list of phrase match, and you don't have that many ad groups. So going in here, and now that you have these all done, you can go in here, grab these keywords, drop them in each ad group, and then bang. This whole list in column C of keywords that are not included will say included. You'll go from having maybe less than 5% of your search terms in your keywords and in your ad groups to being 100%. If someone searches for this, you have it to the T. And that's when you can start breaking out ad groups and being more specific with ad copy and more specific with the landing page. Because think about it, Google Ads is really just 3 opportunities. The ad, someone's going to search for, right? So they can call from the ad. They don't need to go to your landing page. But then you can go to the landing page. And if they don't submit a form or they don't make a phone call, Your only option then is remarketing, try to retarget them. Should cookie their browser, and then there's an opportunity to grab them then. Getting them at step one is the easiest. Getting them at step two is pretty much your last hope, because remarketing, it works really well if that person hasn't already made a purchase decision. If you remarket to the same person, but they went with someone else, it's kind of a waste of budget anyways. Granted, if they go with someone else, their research typically stops on Google as well. So what I'm trying to say is this. The win-win is getting the conversion out of the gate. That last grasp is that second step. When they hit the landing page, if it's not clear, they're bouncing. But the third, with remarketing, if you can get in front of them, that's good, but that's the last step that you can take in order to earn business. You already paid for this person to go to the landing page. And that's another thing too, is that there's no remarketing campaign in this account. So let's just take a step back and just go over everything again to make sure step by step we know exactly what we need to do to start fixing things. Is the keywords in each campaign and ad group need to be more dialed in. They're too generic. You're capturing a lot of generic traffic. You captured some great traffic. Put these keywords into the campaigns. Start optimizing keyword by keyword by keyword, and start eliminating things that you're spending your budget on. I would say, just based off of what I'm seeing here, you could eliminate probably 50% of the bad clicks you're getting and focus on getting the good stuff. And then that's how you're going to get your conversions. If you think that this campaign is performing well, take a look at this. Your conversion tracking is broken. Chances are the conversions you're getting are people who are already working with your company or are aware of the brand. You're not getting a lot of new traffic out of this. You might get some, like this AC service, Naples, Florida. The fact that that's not in an ad group or it's not a keyword that we're targeting means that there's no focus locally. So to speak to that, on a local service business level, you want to get people to your page, but you want to make sure it makes sense. Honestly, I wouldn't even do anything else for this company except target their services and then products and brands that they actually work with, which only looks like training. I would move away from generics entirely, because you have $1,000 a month budget and you're not going to be able to really get the money out of it. So another thing too with this, make sure that the ads are done right and there's not stuff sitting in campaigns that is broken. We have one ad in this for dynamic. It's just, you need to really take a look at what we're doing on the ad side as well. Let's take a look at some of these other ones. So another thing too, just to quickly touch on, is that this campaign's running on the latest recommendation from Google, which is a dynamic ad with two straight ads in here. And this works to an extent, but the problem is you can't actually see all of the variations that are performing for this ad. So you see these clicks and these impressions in the CTR, but what headline's working? What headline is not? Is this getting you leads? Or is this a little bit more of a punchy, powerful statement? I'll leave that up for you to think about. I highly recommend running 6 static ads in each ad group. Make the ads as punchy as possible, different, but able to hang on. So if you do a headline 1, headline 2 copy, swap those in a different ad, because you're going to have more control over it. Pardon me. And you're going to want to be able to optimize a little bit closer to what you're after as far as how people are searching, because it looks like the search terms and the keywords, they're kind of loose. The keywords are really loose. The search terms are what you want to get after. Once you have the search terms into the ad groups, that should impact the way that your ads read. Because if you don't have any ads that are covering, let's sort by impressions. If you don't have headlines, I would say, what is this? Top 10. Some of this is in here. I've seen this. I don't know if I've seen any local ads. I don't see the word Naples in any of these. Whoa. Oh, it's a call only ad. About to say. And that's the weird thing too, is it doesn't have any calls. I'm not going to jump into call only ads right now. Reason being is that I think that this is a campaign that needs to run to the landing page. I don't think it's a call only company. you could do a call-only company if you were to say air conditioning fire. That's something that's going to require immediate assistance. Someone puts that in and they say that they can get you on the phone right then and there. Boom, on the phone. That's good. It gets expensive. Emergency repair, and the word emergency or flood or heat or the different types of terms of stress damage to property, it gets extremely expensive. So with that being said, call only ads can work there, but in this instance, I would be looking to drive people to the landing page. Another reason, because it's not hooked up. You don't want to do a call only campaign when a call conversion tracking is not working. And if it is hooked up and it is working, then you spent 30 days worth of budget for one conversion. So you have to really take a look at what's going on there. I could go through the landing page a bit. I gave a little bit of feedback, but the main thing is I do like the get quote button. I think that's out there, but there's no phone number to call up here. I would add a phone number just to get a couple more people who are not used to using a computer. This get quote area is good. There's nothing distracting people. I would almost get rid of the header or get rid of this and just have this here. So when people pull it up on their phone, it's like the very first thing is they know what to start doing. But we can pull apart the landing page more if I get requested to. It's not a terrible website. It's not anything extra in depth, which isn't a terrible thing either. But my main concern is that the keywords aren't lining up with the landing pages. Duct work, airflow, things of that nature. We're not even looking at that. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. In addition to that, I would say that using broad match modified, phrase, and exact is good because phrase, you're going to get that extra pickup and the quality score is going to be better. Broad match modified is going to pick up the stuff you weren't expecting, and exact is going to be, over time, your most powerful asset as a keyword for the stuff that you're trying to pick up on. Right now, it looks like there's some differences here and there. And also the branded thing. Keywords for this company should go as such. Product, region, brand, service, region, service. That way you're getting the local business, but you're still tying in these keywords. If you just have this generic keyword here, it's going to get you a lot of traffic, but it's going to spend your budget and you're not going to get the revenue out of it that you need. You might get a couple jobs, but I mean, with this campaign, depending on how much you make per job, you should be doing a lot more revenue. And I don't even have the actual revenue reporting numbers, but I can see just from this campaign that you might, a steak gets, what's the saying? Even a garbage can gets a steak, or a broken clock is right 2 times a day. You're going to be successful with the campaign like this, but it's not really tied into, from what I can see, the actual business goals of the company based off of the website. And even if it was, I wouldn't know because the tracking's broken. So this is the business component that I want to take a look at here with everybody to kind of just dive in. Ignore the date and the receivables at the bottom. We're going to focus here on the top and just talk about what we're doing for the company. Let me make this a little more easy to read. So starting from left to right, annual revenue goal, let's just say that this company's revenue goal is $10 million a year. So this is their monthly and daily revenue. So let's say that we wanted to contribute to that overall goal by producing them $500,000 in revenue through our advertising campaign only. That means that our monthly goal for them would be $41,000 of actual revenue produced through Google Ads, or around $1,400 a day. I rounded up. So with that being said, the daily ad spend between all campaigns, let's go back here. I know we looked at this a couple times, but I like to just make sure everybody watching's on the same page. $10, $13, $13. So we're looking at $36 a day. I think I'd be able to do that math pretty quickly in my head. I put 33. It's 36. So hold on. 36 times 30. 1080. 1080 snowboarding. Best game ever. All right. So 36 a day. Boom. So our annual ad spend is almost $13,000. Monthly management, I just put in a random number of 1,000 in order to manage the campaign. So you're looking at a total expense of about almost $25,000 for the effort of digital awareness, managing the Coastal Cooling Inc.'s advertising for the specific strategy. I put in a generic number here from the other campaigns are the cheaper, but we're going to be more realistic on the local level, and we're going to put in $10 per click. And then we have lead to estimate and lead to contract. So what this means is that at $10 cost per click, at $33 a day, see the formula is actually right here. Oh, sorry, this is the monthly, it's not the daily. So every month, you're going to get around 108 clicks. So let's say your conversion rate is 10% of all the traffic you've been driving with, and this is an estimate, but from the campaigns running right now, if you took out the brand terms, I'd say that your click to conversion ratio is probably like 3 to 5% max. With branded, probably 10% or higher because it's branded traffic, but we can't track it, so I'm making an educated guess. Total leads, 10 leads. Let's call it 11 leads, but it's 10 leads. So let's say out of all the leads you get, you're able to give this many estimates. This many people actually booked for you to come out and look at the AC unit. They didn't flake, they didn't cancel. 3 out of 4 is not a terrible number. No one's at 100%. So estimates given out of the leads generated is around 8. So let's say out of the people that you give estimates to, 3 to 4 actually move forward with the full value of what you guys are pitching. So that means that out of the 10 leads or 11 leads that you generate, you're looking at doing about 6 contracts per month. So what's the average value per contract? That's what I don't know. Let's see. How much do HVAC companies make? This is an annual income. I'm not convinced that that's like a really good number, but it is a late article. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm just trying to get like a number. How much do HVAC companies make per job? They're saying 30 to 70 grand a year in takeaway revenue, which just seems like, our goal here that we had is 10 million. And our annual goal projection is $500,000. Let's just take this down to 100,000. Like that's our goal for making this company to 100,000. Let's take the average cost of the contract down to call it $500. Okay, cool. So let's just say that the average service to the unit or the replacement after expenses, after costs, after the guy running the van out and doing the work and you're paying him out, then after taxes, you're getting $500. So the average contract value for the 6 deals that you signed for that month is $3,000. Let's say your profit margin is 25%. We had talked about that. So actually this would be gross and then this is the profit. If we're talking gross, then let's move this up to 1,000. So $1,000 per job gross. Profit margin, 25%, gross profit, yada, yada, yada. Net profit is negative at this number. So let's take a look at the monthly view here, okay? We generated $6,000 in revenue from the contracts that we had signed through our efforts. Our monthly goal in order to make them $100,000 for the year is negative $2,200. And at this range, that's very low. So here's where I'm about to change things up a little bit. The average cost per click is $10. Let's make it $12 or even 13 for the lowest hanging fruit. Okay. And keep the budget the same. Don't change the budget at all. Let's say that we cut down 80% of the keywords and just focus on the keywords that are going to generate actual actionable local business leads that will turn into revenue faster than the other ones will. And let's just say that these jobs are installation jobs. 1,500. How much does it cost to have a new AC installed? I'm really wanting to get this contract number. I'm gonna have to get you to give me more information on that. 7,000. Thank God, I thought we were gonna be underwater forever. So 7,000 means that the total contract value, if we had, look, as you can see here too, the cost has actually reduced the amount of contracts that we have signed because you get less clicks with the higher cost per click if we keep the budget the same. So let me slow down and say that. The budget's $1,000 per month. We took the average cost per click up from $10 to $13 for those local terms that are going to generate more revenue. So we have less clicks, same conversion rate. We get 8 leads, 3 out of 4 get an estimate, 3 out of 4 sign up after the estimate. Look how much more positive we are revenue-wise. We're actually on the way to hitting their goal faster than we had imagined 5 minutes ago. So that's the whole thing here. To kind of circle back with the search terms, are we driving that revenue with these keywords? It's as simple as that. There's a lot of fancy things that you can do with Google Ads, but if you don't have the fundamental set and you try to run this campaign for a long time, you're gonna be getting some status quo or less. But if you tried to scale this and put more budget in, let's go back to the lower average value of contract, and you put more budget in, I gotta change the keywords again, sorry. You are going to scale so much slower with these lower service type options of revenue and fees and picking up these generic terms and answering the phone when someone says, hey, do you sell air purifiers? All that time wasted and all that effort, if you just would have went after the bigger fish in the area, which by the way, out of all the places, Naples, I know we're getting into winter, but Naples, big time business. There's property management companies, but a lot of people come back to Florida in November, December, and January to find that maybe their system needs service. You need to, honestly, in my opinion, keep the budget the same if you'd like, because you might not have more budget to spend. I would only go after the best keywords and drive the best leads, which, by the way, if not done correctly, you'll burn your budget faster. You got to keep that in mind. But I would just run one campaign going after your top 3 to 5 revenue generators and then scale that into other services and offerings. You're kind of coming into the opposite direction of the funnel where you're aiming for generic and you have nothing that's going to be at the end when someone's going to be making a decision. There's a lot of other things that you guys can do too, like competitor campaigns, competitor offer campaigns. I think that with how Internet Explorer and Microsoft have paid over the past couple of years to make Bing the primary search engine, moving some of this budget to Bing could get you some cheaper conversions as well because there's less competitors. There's a lot that you guys could do with this, but we're nearing the end of time here. So I just wanted to give you guys the last step is with the advertiser report card, there's 3 options that you guys have. One is that with this advice, you should essentially be able to go back to your team, come up with a strategy, and basically go in and implement it yourself. If you take this video and see how I was navigating Google Ads, you'll be able to get into all those areas and make these modifications. Option 2 would be to give this to your advertising person or advertising agency, have them go in and watch this video and make all the adjustments. My biggest advice based off of how this campaign is structured is that they need to do a video walkthrough of the after for you so that you understand, does this video that I just did for you match up with the work that they did, or are they still missing the mark? And last but not least, you could always have me and our advertiser report card team take care of this for you as well. Just reach out and let us know, and we'll implement all the proper changes and make sure that you guys are squared away. If you did hire us on to do that for you, we'd make sure that we took care of all of this plus all of our additional recommendations that we did not get to in this video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was educational. I really hope you put it to use. 45 minutes is coming. If If you have any questions at all, just let me know. I'm happy to help. This is Advertising Report Card. My name is Michael Ensor. You rock. Let's keep it cool, HVACer.